Hey everyone, Mrhappy here, and welcome to Mondays with Mrhappy, aka Mrhappy Mondays, the weekly Q&A show where you ask me questions and I answer them. Before we get into the Q&A, we have a few more questions this week, so it's gonna be a longer video than last week. Just want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that good stuff. The Monday that this comes out, it will be Christmas Day. My birthday is 2 days after that, the 12/27. Now you know what it stands for. I'm recording this on Christmas Eve, and it's been a great Christmas Eve over here on the Twitch stream. Lots of giveaways to do. One big thing I want to mention here, and it's why I'm bringing up the Twitch chat in general. We've been doing giveaways for every, 6 subs we get over on Twitch, with all sorts of different prizes people could choose between. On Christmas Day, I know it's kind of a rough day to do giveaways, because most people are busy and doing stuff with the family. If you're not, though, I'm going to be doing a few North American exclusive giveaways, where I'm going to be giving away 2 Stormblood Collector's Editions, a 60-day game time card, which will probably be one of the first giveaways we do. This was courtesy of the Square Enix community team, by the way, so thank you to them. And also a Nintendo Switch. So we've got a lot of things. I bought these things earlier in the year. I never gave them away. I figure Christmas Day-ish is probably a good time to actually clear them off my shelf and get them into the hands of people who will actually use them. So if you're watching this on Monday and you're catching this early-ish, I'd say that the 60-day game time card giveaway will probably begin about 11 a.m. And those other giveaways, the big ones, will be at noon, 1 p.m., 2 p.m. Pacific. So, mark your calendars, come by, and there's other giveaways you could win throughout the day other than that as well. There will be online giveaways for NA and EU before that, and on top of that with every 6 subs like we've been doing. So if you tune in earlier, you have a chance to win other giveaways as well. And I'm going to wipe the slate clean. If anyone wins one of the small giveaways, they're still going to be fine to enter these really big ones as well. But anyway, get that out of the way. I guess I'll decide. I'll thank sponsors at the beginning of this video. For those who don't know, we started doing a sponsor thing over on Patreon where basically people can support me there to combat hashtag demonetized, which is the thing on YouTube where I say bad words and they don't give me money. So that's just, that's what it is in a nutshell. So we have a lot of sponsors over there on Patreon who have been supporting everything. So I'm going to name them out. We have our standard sponsors of Afro Ninja from Malboro, Cheesecake from Leviathan, Sploda, That Lame Weeb, Ashen, Emiya of Cerberus, MrSynestrrr, Argoti, Fafarian, Rendil, Giraffeswillrule, Stevie-Rex, and Neon. We have our elite sponsors, Merida Mackenzie on Ultros, Yadric Red Seal on Exodus, Lexxie Valentine, Mantaru the Rivivus Free Company from Zodiark, Marsh-Techie, Ellisan Le'ore from Balmung, Sour Cream and Chives from Genova, Goisha Valfer of Siren, Jean-Francois Hersh of Fairy, Phoenix Down Free Company on Goblin, Serren from Zodiark, and Rynoet Chikara. And finally, we have our premium sponsors, Kat Kazuma, Kiriyoshi and the Reckless Tea Party on Cactar, Ignis Fairgun from Diablos. I feel like, did I have a name on here that's on here twice again? I feel like I did that last week. No, I don't think I did. I think I fixed it. Valestra of Fanfrit, Noct Cordis from Excalibur, Krovos Moonscar, Nakuniyame of Balmung, Iran the Avon Blanc Free Company, Johnny Odin, Tonberry, Private Mikey, Johnny Odin of Tonberry, and also Iran the Avon Blanc Free Company on Zodiark, just to make that one full. Private Mikey, Aqua Sacrifice, Spike, Nadi and Kirasami, Rudy Rudiger, TinColossus, Khuja Cross, Killer Hackman, Raul Jr, Darklight 2013, Arthur Ramil Gaming Bishop, and Kiltastic Jones. Thank you everyone for sponsoring and supporting. I got to do an update video over there because I've been very lax on YouTube and Patreon the last week. Just kind of taking a week to reset my mood and my brain and to refine my motivations and a lot of things. So that's why it's been a little bit quiet on the channel the last week or so, but I'll have an update of some kind probably rolling out in the next week or so. Nothing's changing, it's just last week has been like a, oh dude, just shut my brain off week. Please, I need to do this right now. So with that, let's actually finally get into the thing you're actually here for, the questions and the answers that come with them, sometimes. Alright, first question over on the forums. First time asking with a bonus of a lifetime of love and happiness. Whoa, that's getting a little personal right there. That's just, you gotta calm down, but thank you. I met an amazing woman on 14 about a year ago, and I've been in a wonderful relationship ever since. She lives in New Jersey, and my question to you is this. What advice or inside joke do you have for dating a Jersey girl? Run. No, it's probably fine. There's not really inside jokes. Here's the thing. People from New Jersey, if she's someone who goes out and has alcohol at any given point, one thing I got made fun of in California was the fact that in New Jersey, we call a Long Island iced tea an L-I-T. Long Island being the L, because there's a hyphen there for some reason in the drink name instead of it being separate. Iced being the I and tea being the T, so it's lit. That's just something that in New Jersey we know. And when I came out to California, I got made fun of it big time. But I asked a fellow Jersey friend, you may know him, Towley. All of our friends are making fun of him. I was like, yo, Towley, yo, you know what an LIT is? He's like, yeah, Long Island iced tea, what's going on? And so that might be something, because I've never heard it called an LIT anywhere else, but that's about the only thing that I can think of. Otherwise, just be normal, because you want her to like you. But seriously, though, take my advice about the thing with the running, because it's gonna get loopy. Please have as much fun with your answer as possible. I did. Thank you for the question, and Merry Christmas. All right, number 2. Hey, hope you're having a solid holiday season so far. It's been a good one. It's been a good one. Thank you for your input on my question last week regarding Triple Triad. Fingers crossed for more options. On to my question. 2 small questions. Make up your mind. In regards to Return to Evil East, do you think they'll pull more music from Tactics and or Final Fantasy 12 for the next raid, or do you think they'll introduce new music? So as much as I love the nostalgia, it's killing me that I don't feel like Soken's getting to flex his muscles as much with Stormblood so far. I think they'll just pull music from either Tactics or 12 again, but man, do I want just... I hope with the Jade Stoa for 4.2, I hope Soken gets to flex his muscles on this one, because he hasn't gotten to do it much in Stormblood so far. Who do you think might show up in the next raid? See, I think this question was last week. I don't like pulling Final Fantasy bosses with, like, no reasonable, like, good reason to pull them from the other games. If I had to guess, I would guess the 4 Fiends of Final Fantasy IV in particular. But it doesn't really make a difference to me. I've seen people make all sorts of guesses. I'll be fine with anything because I guess the bosses are kind of inconsequential with the way Omega works anyway. So it's whatever to me. All right, number 3. Hey, Haps, how you doing this week? I'm doing all right. You doing all right? Yeah, you doing all right. All right. Thanks for answering my question last week. Very happy to hear you're a family man, and I hope the best for your mom. Also, wish her a happy belated birthday from all your fans. Oh, I did. I took a picture with her too. Tweeted that out. She was happy. The first comment when I tweeted out her picture, someone tweeted out, "Why is your mom the same age as you?" My mom, of course, being as old as she is, she's you know, 30 years like on the month older than I am. She was like, send me that. I need that picture. I don't need the comment, but I need to make sure I have that. Send me that picture. I was like, Mom, I was gonna send it to you anyway. Calm down. All right. But anyway, not to extend my question from last week. That's fine if you do that. I'm not sure if you've tried a controller, but if you felt that keyboard input is faster than controller input, I personally feel that way. But I don't know. I'm used to keyboard more than controller. But yeah, no, it feels that way at times, but. A lot of the times I think it's just placebo, but I think that because I use like a high-end gaming keyboard, hashtag SteelSeries, by the way, I pressed spacebar when I was like hovering my hand over it, hashtag SteelSeries, exclamation mark SteelSeries, by the way, save 10%. Because I use a high-end gaming keyboard, it probably has really fast response times compared to what a gaming controller by standard offers, so I might just feel that way because of that. It's more likely, I guess, placebo effect, just of me kind of being someone who leans towards using the keyboard. So I don't know. At times, yeah, it's felt that way because I used it for the Healer Happy series, but I don't know that it actually is. So I'm not just going to talk out my ass about that one. I'm sure someone will be like, actually, the response time for this is that in the comment section. I'll let them be the official answer. Yeah, because I see you got all this examples right here in regards to like Provoke and Shirk and all that stuff. All right, quick second question. I picked up Dauntless after you said it was unlikely to come to the Steam store. Anyway, I can get my hands on a Mrhappy flare. I need to get more flares. That's all there is. The individual like streamer partner flare things for Dauntless, I just need more codes for them. That's all it is. So if I get one, I'll tell you at the beginning of a Monday video, and they'll be like, "Happy, I need that code," and they can like tweet it at me or something, and then I'll be like, "All right." By the way, thanks for the heads up on SteelSeries. Just wish I had the extra money right now. You're welcome. But that heads up is also for everyone else. Oh shit, am I blinking with the wrong eye? I like this one better. Yeah, thank you for your questions. Merry Christmas. Alright, number 4. Hello, Mr. Happy, longtime fan and admirer. But first question, I think. Oh man, you got a life story here. Alright, let's buckle in. So all those controversies surrounding questionable monetization practices in the media, it's hard not to take notice of Square Enix's methods. I've noticed over the few years I've enjoyed the game, the items of the cash shop and prices have been taking a slow but noticeable increase. Prior to Stormblood expansion, Easter items were released in the cash shop only, along with the mounts, emotes, and dances. Let's be clear, I know these are cosmetic and appear to not affect the game, but I think they really do affect player enjoyment. Now, this is a conversation that's older than the loot box topic. This is one that ever since they announced it at the first North American Fan Festival, this has been a pretty heated topic. I deferred to a game which I recently picked up, Warframe. Love that game, by the way. As you know, it's a free-to-play game as items to cash out, which you can purchase. They have a premium currency, which you can also earn from trading with players. Recently, Warframe has had a slew of in-game events, dev streams, Twitch Prime, loot drops for its players. During these events, it gave away premium currency as well as several cash items. All 2 events with a 10k cash giveaway, and Christmas event. Players can earn each other and receive items based on how much the community gave to other players. Meanwhile, I paid $20 for my 14 sub. What? How many retainers do you... Oh, wait, you probably pay $14.99. You probably pay it monthly, and then you probably have 2 retainers. So, yeah, I guess that actually... You probably have 2 bonus retainers. An additional $3 for space. Wait, now I'm even more confused. Additional $3 for space, but retainers are 2 I don't know. Whatever. You buy retainers. I'll take that. SE has never given away items to cash shop, and their events usually involve... Well, they do, but they're usually on, like, community events and stuff. I don't mind the cash shop, but I continue to see more cash shop exclusives that could be in-game. I see most go for $3, $7, okay. My question is, do you think Serren is being increasingly greedy with all these additional items? No, I think what's happening, because what happens with the cash shop items in particular, is they don't have the standard developers who work on Final Fantasy XIV and work on reward structure. Those aren't the people making it. The company hires, from what I understand, the company hires different sets of people, and those ideas go through them, and then they get fed into the cash shop. So they're basically creating items that had no structure or no plans for a reward system. Although Yoshida still is at the head of it all. He isn't the... He's made several comments before regarding items that are added to the cash shop where he talks about how it's a separate team altogether, even though obviously he oversees the game itself. So I don't know that it's Square Enix, but it's just that they have more people working on those things, and then they end up costing more because they're either A, take an X amount of time, or B, people are willing to pay for it. I think the reason why, again, it doesn't get brought up too much anymore is because it is all cosmetic stuff, and it's stuff that if the main team isn't planning on putting into the game anyway, the fact that the other team picks it up and puts it into cash shop is something that players don't really mind in this day and age. I personally don't care because I don't buy anything off a cash shop for myself. I've had people gift me stuff. I've gifted people tons of items off the cash shop. Hell, I just mentioned those giveaways earlier in the stream. A lot of people have been picking, you know, outfits and emotes and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I always feel like it's not a great thing to do regardless of how your team structure is done or how, or if it wouldn't be added to the game without that extra team being there, like everything I just mentioned. I'm never really a fan of it because I just don't like using cash shops unless it feels like, if it's free to play, I'll accept. Like Warframe, I spent 20 bucks on, for example. And it felt good because I had been playing a game for free and that's all I was paying for. So it didn't feel bad at all. But with Square Enix, for myself, I just won't spend money on the cash shop. That's just my stance on it altogether. It doesn't matter what they put in there. But in terms of giving items away, it's very different between a company like that runs Warframe and the company and Square Enix. There's a big difference in the way that those companies are structured. Warframe is a free-to-play game that has been around for, what, 5 years now? And it had to come from some pretty rough times. Not as rough as Final Fantasy XIV, obviously, but it had to build itself up over what is one of, you know, along with Star Citizen, one of the longest-running betas of all time. As for Final Fantasy XIV, Square Enix, being a Japanese company, has a very different idea of structure. For them, obviously, they love consistent income, whereas Warframe is very much based on get people hooked, and then they'll be willing to pay money because it's something they enjoy. Square Enix and Warframe, they're very different sized companies. They run very different ways, and you can't just expect Square Enix to give away free items. They put stuff on sale, and that's their equivalent of giving something away. Warframe, it attracts people when they do that. When you have something that's free to play, if you see free things being given away on top of it being free to play, you almost feel more inclined. If Square Enix was giving away free stuff for Final Fantasy XIV, if I wasn't playing, that wouldn't make me want to play. I wouldn't see that and be like, wow, that's a great thing for that company to do. Let me play this game. With Warframe, people will see that they're doing that and be like, oh, it's free to play anyway. I might as well pick it up. There's so many different like pieces of psychology and mentality that go in to the 2 different games and 2 different genres that they take space in, that it's hard to nail down one thing. I don't think Square Enix just needs to give away more free things, though. I don't think that that's necessarily something any business has to do, because it also creates a negative precedent that you almost become expected to do it. Like, that's kind of the tone I'm receiving here. It's like, it's almost like you expect that now of Warframe, and you don't want to be a company where people expect you to give people free things. It's just not a good look, because it becomes addictive to people to just get free shit. There's so many different facets to it. I don't like that they add more stuff to the cash shop as often as they do in Final Fantasy XIV to answer that, but I don't think Square Enix should just give away more things. I think it's a lot different with a sub-based game versus a free-to-play game. All right, number 5. 27-minute queue, 27 Mrhappy video. Hi. And I was talking about Xenoblade for the Wii, not the Wii U. See, I didn't play any of the other Xenoblade, or any of the other Xeno games. No Xenogears, no Xenosaga, no Xenoblade. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is the first one I played. So I definitely don't understand questions involving the prior games or anything, even remotely considering there. So, we've got a roulette. The first question about Yoshida's comment on a brand new job. I'm going to skip that one for now. I'm not going to pick that one. You do have a question about Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Let me make sure it's not a spoiler before I pick it. Never mind, I see what the question is and it's stupid, so I'm just going to pick the remember question instead. Remember that time when you clicked on your gill and it toggled to your MGP instead of your open currency window? Wouldn't it be cool that when you enter the gold saucer, it displays your MGP instead of gill? Yeah, so I remember the first time, and I sort of agree. The thing is, everything you do in the gold saucer reminds you of how much MGP you have. When you go to buy a mini Cacpot ticket, it tells you how much MGP you have. When you go to play a mini game, it tells you how much you have. You have to see the number with every single thing you do. So, while it would be okay for me to, I guess, know, odds are if I'm going there to do something that is involving MGP, and I'll see the number anyway. So, I'm indifferent about this one. It sounds like a good idea on paper, but in practice, I don't know that it's a necessity. It's not something I would necessarily want them to be like, oh, let's just add that toggle in. You know what I mean? I think that the information is there enough that we don't need that automatic toggle of the currency tab. All right, number 6. Hi, Mrhappy. I have 3 questions related to gear stats, and 14 only answer whichever ones you want. So it's not a roulette. Integer math, why? As you probably know, the damage formulas in 14 almost use integer math and deal with decimals by dividing by multiples of 10 throughout the process. This approach is the reason that all stats besides weapon damage have tiers where you need to increase the stat by X amount to get to any increase in damage. Like this, Square Enix will update the code to use floats. Unlikely. They would probably have to do a lot more than just update the stats that we actually see to floats for that to work like that. There are actually decimals in place there, but we won't notice them without, as you said, reaching an actual tier. So to make them function like that, and the job balance that goes into that, I don't see them doing that. It's much easier to work with integer math, and they've already said that keeping stats. First of all, it's not even about that. For me, I don't care about integer math. I don't care about any of that shit. I just want to be able to hover over crit chance or critical hit rating and know what my fucking crit chance is. I don't give a shit about integer math versus decimal math and that shit. I just want to hover over it and see a fucking percentage. That's all I want in life, to be fair. So no, I don't think they'll do it. I think there's more numbers that we don't see that they'd have to change the way that works in for it, and I think that I don't know that they'd do it. I don't think they would. Meld caps and relic armor. How do you think Square Enix will choose to handle the number of substats on relic armor when they get to the point of letting players choose their own substats? I think they'll do it very similarly to where there's no materia, but because you have to put in all the effort for this gear, the substat cap is probably slightly higher to make up for the fact there is no materia. That's what they did on the old weapon, so that's what I'm anticipating they'll do on the new weapons and armor. So that's my guess. That's just what it is. And racial stats. Why do you see people debating melding DH on healers instead of debt when increase in damage is the same as switching to a race with more main stat while losing 10 times as much healing? So the reason why direct hit on healers has become increasingly more popular is the amount of healing needed becomes irrelevant with a lot of the healing stats. I had a friend who does a lot of healing, and he always talked about how once you heal the fight to its completion, you're almost always, no matter how much more item level you get, you're almost always going to be casting the exact same number of heals in the exact same places. And the only time having the additional healing comes in handy is when people fuck up and you want to make a quick save. For that, he always enjoyed spell speed. In regards to picking determination, because it's both DPS and healing, a lot of people are going to say, well, I'm going to be casting the exact same heals in the exact same spots of every fight, no matter what. So what do I need the extra healing that comes from determination for? At this point, I'm trying to maximize my output from damage while also doing the minimum amount of healing required. That's where the direct hit for healers thing comes into play, because it is a higher flat damage increase on the healing, as opposed to as opposed to the extra healing they get from determination. Now, of course, going into the next raid tier, you could argue that's a poor decision, which is when, you know, you see a lot of people reverse their gear decisions and focus them on progression because they don't know the fight and they don't know when they'll be needing the healing or how much healing they'll be needing in the first place. But for stuff that's old and you've progressed on item level and you just, the flat stats on just the gear is enough, then the determination becomes redundant in a sense. As someone who's not a healer, I can only convey what I've heard from other healers regarding this right now to you. I have no experience with it because I haven't healed any of the Savage fights, but that's the notion that I've been given from other healers in regards to why direct hit has become a popular decision on them. Okay, so number 7 is the next one. Hello from England's green and pleasant lands. Hello. I really love doing the alliance raids. I love them too. However, the gear score is set up currently in the older ones is just a cheese fest. Yeah, I just did World of Darkness today, and I was like, all right, skipping that, skipping that, skipping that. You think the Square Enix lowered the maximum gear sync during the raids, they would become harder? They would, but they're old content, so they don't really care. That's it. That's all it is. People like going into them, getting rewarded. They use them as a means of leveling now. Like, that's what those old alliance raids are for. They are another means of leveling. Specifically through the roulette and not through, like, spamming them. But that's what people use them for. So, you know what? I almost do kind of expect the old alliance raids to be similar to a leveling dungeon, in a sense. Just because they pushed it into that category. So, no. I mean, would it make it harder? Absolutely. Would they do it? No. Alright, number 8. Hey, Mr. Happy. Greetings from Germany and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, too. It took me a long, long time to come up with something to ask and a proper first-time bonus. As my bonus, I give you 2 things. First, it's a big thank you for being the reason I started 14 back in 2014. You are my favorite streamer and YouTuber, and your whole personality shows you are helpful and friendly. You and your community... shows how helpful and friendly you and your community can be. I hope that someday I can meet you and thank you in person. I want to try to go to the Paris Fan Fest. I can't guarantee that yet, but if you go there, there's a chance that I'm going to try to attend. By the way, thank you for the kind words, obviously. I do what I can. I'm from New Jersey, so I still act like an asshole from time to time, but, you know, that's... You give or take, you know? The second thing is a personal dinner for you and your girlfriend cooked by Gordon Ramsay himself. Gordon Ramsay steak. He didn't cook it, but that was a damn good restaurant. And you can choose if he shouts it. I want him to shout at the meat to tenderize it. I believe Gordon Ramsay shouting at meat is a more effective means of tenderizing it than actually tenderizing it. So that's what I want. But thank you. We actually just went out to dinner last night. Early dinner for my birthday. On to my questions. I stopped playing Final Fantasy XIV even though I consider it the best MMO I've played. I cannot enjoy the game outside of raids. Crafting seems really good, the world is beautiful, but I can't enjoy the main story mainly because I really hate Alphinaud and Y'shtola. Have you ever encountered someone who had similar issues and found a solution? What would be your suggestion? I never make suggestions to try and force someone to like a game. If someone wants to argue semantics about a game, design choice and decision, I'm down for that. But if someone says they don't like a character, they don't I mean, that's the thing. I don't like Final Fantasy IX for a similar reason why you don't seem to like 14's main story. I don't resonate with any of the characters. I don't like any of the characters except Vivi. So, for me, I don't enjoy playing through Final Fantasy IX as much as the other ones. That and a few other reasons. And once you just... There's no point in arguing that someone should like a game. There's no point in trying to convince someone they should like a game. You like it or you don't. Like, that's all there really is. So, I've encountered people who say that, and I always say, oh, that's unfortunate, but, you know, if you don't like it, you don't like it. I'm not going to try to make you like it. That's all there really is to it, to me. There's no other elements to that. My second question is about the music. The combat music outside of Trials is so annoying. I have to mute the sound. See, I mute sound in MMOs anyway because I get tired of hearing the exact same thing over and over and over again for that long. I just turn on my own music most of the time. It does not fit at all, and it ruins the whole dungeon where the music is just so much better. Pharaoh Sirius or Lost City. Oh, I love it. Yeah, dude, I fucking hate it in the original Pharaoh Sirius where every time you got in a battle, it cut the music. I hate that so much. I actually 100% agree with you. I would love the ability to... I've been asking for this for actually since Pharaoh Sirius came out. The ability to turn off combat music and only allow background music to play. With the Trials, it works that way anyway, but I want it for everything. I want it in fields. I want it in dungeons. I just don't want to hear the combat theme compared to the themes that are playing in the game. That's why you do them in the Trials, because it keeps the emotion of the trial pumping through you as you're going through the fight. I want that in everything. I want that in my dungeons. I want that in my hunts. Hunts, actually, I kind of like the music choice that they have for that. But I agree with that. I 100% agree. That's it. I agree. I agree with your assessment. All right, number 9. Hey, Mr. Happy. Final sim here and welcome to Mondays with Mr. Happy, aka Mr. Happy. Mondays with Q&A show where we ask questions, you answer. I got really good at saying it fast. My gatherers yesterday. You got your gatherers yesterday at level 50 and started leveling them up via collectibles. As we all know, get these collectibles from spoiled nodes that spawn every hour. Every half hour for the collectibles. They should be spawning in the AM and the PM for the collectibles that you use for leveling. Yeah, so you use FFXIV clock. My question is, who made that website? I don't know. You should ask them. It is fan-made, though. Any of those websites, Square Enix has one basically official resource. Anything that's the lodestone or connected to the lodestone are the only things that Square Enix provides. Anything like clock, anything like Ariala, anything like that, everything else is made by players. And it's usually run through not an API, but the player's actual experience and them submitting the data itself. I couldn't tell you who made it, because I don't fucking know, but they do it. If you want any questions about that, go find out who it is and ask them. Alright, number 10. Howdy ho ho ho, Mercrum. I have a Christmas gift of a customizable mammoth. Am I a puppet master, though? That's the important thing to know. May Casper not eat all of your cake. I thought it said Coke, and I was like, yo, listen. Casper is a friendly ghost, but he's not that friendly, alright? Better still watch the translucent birds, though. Oh, Casper, my that's the name of the chocobo that the development team got, or the community team got me, because I used the green screen and he's yellow, but for some reason he like becomes transparent with the background. Anyway, the happy roulette of join us, slightly serious and joke. You know what? I'm gonna go with slightly serious. All right. Do you think 14 or 15 will get crossovers with other IP Square Enix now has Dominion over, like Tomb Raider or Hitman? Didn't they? I feel like they separated from Hitman, didn't they? I don't know if they did. I haven't heard anything in regards to Hitman lately, so I just assumed that it just fell apart for some reason. Tomb Raider, though? No, I don't think so. 15, I wouldn't be surprised, because 15 did the Assassin's Creed thing, which I forgot wasn't the first time Final Fantasy did something with Assassin's Creed. I completely forgot that one of the Final Fantasy 13 games also had an Assassin's Creed thing. And they also had a Mass Effect collaboration in 13 too. I remember that as well. Oh, man. It's some weird collaborations back in the 13 series. Now with 15, at least the Assassin's Creed thing. I'm sorry, but the Assassin's Creed side, Assassin's Creed got their collaboration stuff. They got a camel that looks like a chocobo. It is the single most horrifying thing I've ever seen in a video game. But the sword and the shield were really cool. I don't think they'll get crossovers with other IPs outside of like Dragon Quest. That's like the farthest I'd see 14 go, and they've already gone there at that point. So no, I don't think they will. Alright, next question. Hello, Mr. Happy. It's been a while since I asked you a question, so I hope everything is well. Hope everything's well with you as well. I hope you're having a happy holidays. First, a small side note before the actual question. You said a few weeks back in a response to a question about the $60 price tag that games are a lot more expensive to make nowadays. But if you look at the financial reports from the big publishers, development costs are on the decline from year to year. For example, EA development costs 17 were as low as 2009. So more along the lines, and I corrected myself in the comment section, what I meant to say more is they hire more people. Nowadays, the actual cost of development has not gone up. The amount of people that it generally requires to make something, though, or what the amount of people that end up getting hired ends up being a lot high. But yeah, no, their actual costs are not higher, but the amount of people hired is much higher. So, got to raise profits. And ultimately, gaming is a business. That was, I guess, my ultimate point that I kind of let get flubbed, was that gaming's a business. People like to think gaming is passion. It was 20 years ago when it started being a business, and it's moved in that direction ever since. Now, for the actual two questions that I have, which are about Divinity Original Sin 2, which you mentioned you've been playing. I haven't been playing them. I played Divinity Original Sin 2 for about 30 hours. Are you going to make a review of the game like you did for Battle Chasers? I think I did a first thoughts of it, and that's about all it's going to get. And Heavy Divinity Original 2, I didn't finish it, so I'm not even going to click the spoiler half of the thing. So I don't have a good thing, because I didn't finish it, so I'm not going to click the spoiler question. That much I know. So sorry, it's not a great set of answers, or any answer at all, I suppose. But yeah, it's kind of shitty on my part, but so unfortunately all I got for these two right here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Number 12. Hey, guy. So you don't have to read a wall of text. I'll get to the question. How come the developers don't allow Protect to work on pets and chocobos? It's probably because they don't count as party members. I know it sounds stupid, but they are in the pet slot, and the pet slot isn't part of the player character slot. That's what I got. It's a PC ability, not an NPC ability, or not an ability that can be used on NPCs. So because they're NPCs, it probably just doesn't work on them. And that's it. Bonus question, if you have, not that they couldn't do it, by the way, that's just how it is. Bonus question, if you have the time. How come the developers don't put NPCs in a party during the quest? It's irritating to heal NPCs on controller by tap. Listen, you know what? I kind of agree. I never really thought of it, but you're right. As someone who had to do the Healer Happy series, I hated targeting NPCs on that one. So, no, I agree. That would be nice. I'd really like it. That's it. I actually figured out that was the last question. Because I forgot, I deleted one. Somebody said they didn't know how to delete it, so I deleted it. So when I saw this was number 12, originally when I started, I saw there's 13. And my party, and I'm sorry, my party, that's what I was going to say. My Twitch chat is confirming that it used to work on Chocobos when they were considered party members and not pets. So yeah, it does seem to be because the pets are... There's a pet slot and a party member slot, and because the Chocobo used to count as a party member slot, it worked back then, and it doesn't work now because they fit into the pet slot. So yeah, that's why. Again, they could redesign Protect to work in a different way so that it did work with them, but they just haven't. So that's how it works. But anyway, that's the last question on the forums. I'm going to take some questions from the live Twitch chat right now. So yeah, let's get some questions from you guys. See if they're good at least. Alright, so the question I have from the Twitch chat that I'm going to be taking for the actual video itself, I answered like a million questions before this one. What kind of goal do you have for the stream in the next year? So I answer this question every year. Every single person has a question every year. And obviously next week, the next recording of this will be on New Year's Eve. It's because I record on Sundays. This year didn't go as planned at all, pretty much. For me, 2017, obviously a lot of people say 2017 was a shit year for a lot of reasons. For me, I was pretty disappointed in myself for 2017 altogether. Obviously, you can look back. The beginning of the year started well, like going back from 2016 into 2017. After the Stormblood launch, it all kind of came crashing down for me. I had a lot of instances of lack of motivation. I had a lot of instances of trying new things that didn't really work, and then being scared to do new things again, which is something I haven't really felt since like 2015. And it all really didn't come together. I have my high moments, I have my low moments, but 2017 really didn't go as planned at all. And so that makes 2018 a little more scary, because if I come up with a plan and it happens like 2017 again, it's gonna be bad for me personally. And in case you're wondering some of those things, like my charity event for Extra Life went awful. Although we did make up for a little bit with the charity event I did a few weeks later for Gaming Tuesday. All of my like goals in terms of growth of the channel, like I had huge spurts of growth at the beginning of the year that I absolutely had no plan of to maintain. Like we had a point where we started the year, we had 1,600 sub points on Twitch. I'm like barely hovering around 950 right now, for example. And obviously an expansion hype and building up towards an expansion does that. And I experienced a very similar thing with Heavensward, where it went into Heavensward really strong. And then like 6 months after, while I was trying other things, it didn't go great. So I guess I probably, like I said, I haven't felt that since 2015. And it's not a good feeling. So going into 2018, I got to say, I don't have I don't have many plans. Like I don't have anything set in stone. Other than January, I'm going to be streaming 10 hours a day because of all the shit that comes out at the end of the month. But I gotta get some things into gear for next year. I need plans, but they need to be plans month to month, not something for the whole year. Because when I try to think of the whole year at one time, it's probably where I get overwhelmed and I lose motivation. It all gets fucked up. So January, I'll start with the plan for January, which is to go into all these game releases with ideas for videos, which I already have a handful of. I have a tournament I'm attending for Dissidia in the middle of January, where #1 Alex, myself, and my buddy Slackaholicus, we're going to be competing against fighting game community people in Dissidia, and I'm just kind of banking on the fact that Dissidia doesn't function like a normal fighting game, that maybe we can fucking hold our own, but I expect us to get our fucking asses handed to ourselves. And I just want to have a good time, man. I like doing what I do, and I'm someone who's always had a plan, but I gotta start taking my plans. They gotta be in a direct scale, not on a huge scale like they were with 2017, because otherwise I just get fucked in the head, man. I had no plan after, I guess, August, in a sense, and it was all downhill from there. But I gotta pick myself back up in 2018. and it's gonna be rough, but I can do it. All right, the next question is also a very real question, I suppose you could do. If you were able to go back to the age before you started streaming, would you try anything else in your life or stick with streaming? No, I'd start streaming earlier. The only thing is, I always think about when people ask, would you do things differently earlier in your life? I always think about, like, you know how people talk about if you change one thing in the past, it changes a lot of things in the future. And I think if I was already, like, streaming before I met Mel, I probably wouldn't have met her in the first place. So there's always that to consider. But I guess if everything could be exactly the same, like, now, like, in terms of where I am now with, like, where I'm living and who I'm with and, you know, Aloha and Mel and everything like that, then I would have, I would have changed, I would have done it sooner. I basically never invested in the hardware for it until after I was sure it was something I could maybe do. As opposed to thinking, let me try it and then do that. I would have been making, dude, I would have been making fucking Final Fantasy 11 videos. Like, you know how many hours I spent on that game? And, like, YouTube was already around and video sharing on the internet was already a thing. I would have invested in that shit, like, way, way, way earlier. And I probably still would have played through 1.0 and had the same experience and then hop back on 2.0 and all that shit. That's it. That's about it. I would have started doing it sooner. Because college, man, I don't feel like I pulled much away from college. I didn't even finish college because it felt like I had just... It just cost me money. That's it. I'm still paying for it today. It's all like $22,000 in fucking loans to pay off, which it's going to take me a while because I'm not trying to pay it off in a huge chunk when I have to consider my living situation and whatnot. So, yeah, but that's about it. I would have told myself to fucking start sooner and not be a bitch about making videos and shit when I was younger. All right, and with that last question, that's going to be a wrap for Mondays with MrHappy this week. So thank you, everyone, for asking your questions. I answered, like, God, I don't even know how many questions in the Twitch chat between the two that you just heard right there. But thank you, everyone, for asking your questions, whether or not they got included in the video. Thank you for those of you who asked on the forums. If you want to ask your questions for the New Year's Eve version of Mondays with MrHappy, which, by the way, is nothing special about it. Well, I'm talking about the live streams on New Year's Eve. This will launch on New Year's. Yeah. The next Mondays after this will release on New Year's. Be sure to check the description of the video on YouTube for the forums. If you're watching live on Twitch and you want to go over there, I believe if you type !dream and go to the forums section and look for the MrHappy1227 section, you'll find it, no problem. But thank you, everyone, for joining me this week. Thank you again to our sponsors who we named at the beginning of the video. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Hopefully, you know, you had Kwanzaa, you had Hanukkah, you had, you know, got Festivus, you got all these. Have a good holiday season and enjoy the New Year's next year. I'll wish you the Happy New Year's again next year as well. But anyway, I'm gonna hang out with the Twitch chat for a few more minutes. Thank you for hanging out on YouTube and Twitch, and I'll see you guys next week. Until then, take care.